Good morning, and my watch says we're right on time, so everybody ready? Lieutenant Governor Kim Reynolds is on the final leg of her trade mission to Asia. I think she'll be back tomorrow. But later today, I will be signing a proclamation declaring April 2nd through the 8th as Iowa Public Health Week. And as part of that, it was recently announced that Iowa has moved up 3 spots on the Gallup Healthways Well-Being Index from 19th to 16th. And as you know, as part of our Healthiest State initiative, our goal is to be #1, to be the healthiest state in the nation within 5 years. To become the healthiest state in the nation, Iowans all across our state need to work together and to do their part in the choices they make in terms of the foods they eat, the exercise, and managing stress and all of those things. And it may not even be big changes, but simply taking ownership of one's own health and making good choices day after day. We're trying to do our part in state government. Beginning soon, the options in our vending machines at the Capitol complex will be healthier. This has already been done at the Lucas building. It will be done here at the Capitol. It will be done throughout the Capitol complex and state government. To help make the right choice, the easy choice for state workers, we're going to outfit our vending machines with a color coding system to show which items are the healthiest, kind of like what Hy-Vee does with the nutrition value of their foods. The businesses who supply our vending machines have teamed up with the Department of Public Health to provide workers a mix of snacks that are both nutritious and taste great. This is just one simple step as part of our overall effort to help state employees and to help the guests that visit our Capitol building to make better and healthier choices. So I'll be glad to respond to your questions on that.
Have you sampled any of these great tasting items?
You know, I haven't, but I have not, I don't buy a lot of things out of vending machines. And I gave up drinking soda pop and went to water a long time ago. And so I've tried to make all of these kind of good choices. Now, there may be from time to time that I would, but I can't remember the last time I purchased something out of a vending machine, so it's been a while.
Is there a price tag on this?
I don't think so. I mean, the prices will be on the individual items in the vending machines.
I mean a cost to the state to implement this program.
No. It's just a matter of choosing different things that would be available. And we're just going to try to have healthier choices available as part of the mix. And then there will be a color coding system that will help people easily identify what might be a healthier choice, because a lot of times you know, people don't know, and this is just a way to give people more information so they can make good choices.
So the signage or anything like that?
There will just be a color coded system.
No incidental costs at all?
No. We'll be working with the people that supply it, so you know, and the food will be priced just as it is in the vending machines today, based on, you know, we have different things that cost different amounts. Yes?
I did a quick spot check out here, and
yep.
the vending machines have a strip across the top that shows these symbols, but nothing individually. Will each product be marked then with the
yes.
color code?
Marionette, you want to respond to that?
Not each.
Why don't you come up?
An example could be seen over in the Lucas building. So there's the pushers that are on the little coil that pushes a product forward. That will be color coded. Currently in the Lucas building, there's a little sticker that's red, blue, or red, yellow, and green that's on the snacks that are healthiest. Not all snacks would be labeled as such, but the green snacks, the ones that are more healthy, have a little, right now, a little color-coded sticker, and then there's yellow, and then there's red. So if you don't see a green or a yellow, that means it's a red.
So red means stop.
Right, think. Stop and think before
Stop
you
and
take
think
that
before you
choice.
go. That's exactly right.
Why offer the red choices? Why not remove those from the vending machines altogether?
Well,
Because we are not the food police.
that's probably
You know, we're trying to make this a voluntary program. I don't know. You can answer it.
actually.
I just thought I'd put my 2 cents in.
I like that 2 cents. Because the goal is to train people to make healthier choices. Right. And so that if you can make an easy choice available to people, to get them to choose the easier choice, then in those places where that's not an option, they can go seek out and look. So it helps to train people into what's a better choice. You also have some snacks that are not readily available in a vending machine because of spoilage. So we're working with our contractors, working with our the grants that we have in order to try to shift us to make healthier choices an easier choice.
Have you gotten any feedback from the Lucas building so far? How long has that been? Have you gotten any feedback?
We actually started it last year. We've had some good feedback, and part of our Live Healthy Iowa Challenge, actually, the department has undertaken another initiative to further making the healthy choice the easy choice. So we actually right now have put some little stickers on the back of products in random fashion, and there's little prizes if they get that sticker. They just have to go see their wellness champion in their building. So there's a wellness champion or a place where they'll be dispensed even here in the Capitol building, and over in the Lucas building we've done that. And one of the prizes actually that we discussed was having another Jeans Day for employees in the Department of Public Health. That seems to be a popular prize, if you will.
How many vending machines?
Well, throughout the Capitol complex, I don't know how many vending machines there are in total, but I think there are several throughout the Capitol complex. And again, we're trying to lead by example here. We're trying to encourage people to make healthy choices. We don't want to be the food police, and people are going to choose what they want to choose, but we want to make it as easy as possible for them to be able to make a healthy choice. And that's the whole Healthiest State initiative is designed not to ban things or say you have to do this, but rather to encourage people to make good decisions and good choices, whether it's the food they eat or exercise or other things, not using tobacco products and things like that.
And President, another week you made a reference to a grant, so you are working with a grant on this?
Come on up. Yep, come on up. We can see you over the podium here.
Iowans Fit for Life, which is in the Department of Public Health, in the Nutrition and Health Promotion, the Bureau of Nutrition and Health Promotion, they did have a grant from Wellmark for part of this process. So this is the NIMS process, or NIMS-V, which is the Nutrition Environment Measures Survey. So through this grant process, you can take a survey of the nutritional environment in an area and then adopt a plan and then try to enact that plan. So this is part of that process. So yes, we did have grants. We had actually from Wellmark in order to do this process. This started back in 2010.
Dr. Macy, you said what kind of feedback did you get? Something specific, maybe say exactly feedback.
I think there's good feedback, and I think the prizes are going to help stimulate a little bit more making the healthy choice the easier choice.
By moving from
Right.
19 to 16, did Iowans actually get healthier, or did other states get worse?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know that I've seen the statistics on that, but as you know, the whole country's been getting worse. In fact, it was really interesting at the National Governors meeting in Washington, D.C. in February. We had Laura Jackson, who is with Wellmark, do a really fine presentation, and it showed over the last several decades how the obesity situation state by state has gotten worse and worse, and we're trying to reverse that. So that is a good question. I'd have to get into the details of that, but our ranking is obviously since we set the goal to be #1, we know that's an ambitious goal, but we're glad it's going in the right direction. And I'm hopeful that we can not only, slow down this trend, that we can actually reverse it. And so but I don't think that's going to happen overnight. But I think if we work at it day in and day out, it can be. And also, I just would add that the interest and the excitement about the blue zones in the communities across the state is another thing that tells me there's a lot of support and a lot of interest in this Healthiest State initiative.
Governor, have you had any sincere talks with Senate Democrats on the property tax issue, or is that issue stalled?
Yes, there are discussions going on. My chief of staff has met with Senator Branstad and with other Senate Democrats. Over the weekend, I attended Eggs and Issues in Spencer and sat next to Senate President Kibbe. And so we had a chance to visit informally about that as well as other issues. So I'm hopeful. This is very important. This is an issue that's been around for 30 years. There's been at least a half a dozen legislative studies on it. Governor Culver appointed a task force of citizens, but they've never been able to come to a conclusion. And we had a proposal last year, and we listened to some of the concerns about it, and we made adjustments and changes. Instead of 5 years, it's over 8 years that we go from 100% to 60% in commercial and industrial property tax in terms of market value. We treat new and existing the same. We've exempted those properties that are within tax increment financing districts until that is completed, and then they'll come in at whatever level the commercial industrial taxes are at that point. So I think we've made some significant adjustments, and then we've been meeting with and talking to Senate Democrats as well as Republicans to try to get their ideas, but with a focus that failing to act really would be irresponsible, because failing to act would leave Iowans facing a $2 billion property tax increase over all class of property over the next 8 years. And the one that gets hit the most is residential, because we have more residential property than anything else. But residential, commercial, industrial, and agriculture would all be hurt if there is not action this year.
In the 1980s,
You remember the 1980s? I do.
Representative Jack Cash proposed.
Was he in the Senate in the 1980s?
Representative.
Oh, representative. He was in the House. Okay, okay.
He proposed limiting tuition increases at the state universities to the higher education price index, and you immediately said, I'll veto that bill, don't even think about passing it. Yet House Republicans this past week passed a tuition freeze, which is even more limiting than that, and you didn't issue a veto threat. So I'm just wondering if you're a kinder, gentler governor now, or if you're more amenable to legislators acting to limit the Board of Regents' authority.
I don't think it's appropriate for the legislature to make that decision. I think that should be made by the regents based on what the needs of the universities are. This is the first time I've been asked that question, and so nobody asked me that question last week. But I don't think freezing the tuition or having the legislature impose limits on the tuition is the appropriate way to go. I think the legislature has a role in the appropriations process, but I also recognize that the Board of Regents is the governing board that oversees the universities, and I think they're the appropriate ones to make the decisions on tuition.
So you would veto that?
Well, you know, maybe I've gotten older and wiser from the 1980s. You don't hear me threatening to veto things until I see them in their final form. I've just learned that basically my role, it comes after the House and the Senate have reached agreement, and oftentimes these things don't get through one house or the other. So, and then oftentimes they'll get dramatically amended or changed during the process. So I want to try to be very clear. I don't think this is good policy, but I don't make a decision on signing or vetoing it until we actually get a bill in its final form.
There's a bill that the Senate's going to take up again today that would require background checks on bus drivers. Should that be expanded to other employees, cooks, custodians, things like that?
Well, I think anybody that has contact with children, we require it for teachers, and I think for people that are working in daycare facilities and things like that. So I think it is appropriate. I think the House has passed this bill, and I think it would certainly be appropriate to look at including anybody that would likely to have contact with young children.
What's your thoughts Have you given any thought to endorsing anybody at this point?
Well, I think it's progressing. You know, the process is, I think there's about half the states still left. I think the next big test is going to be Wisconsin. And I think I'm going to take another look at this whole situation after Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin will be very instrumental in this whole nomination process.
So do you think you might endorse after this?
I might. I think I want to take another look at that. I have stayed neutral because I wanted to be a good host and make sure that all the candidates felt that they were welcome in Iowa, and you know, I have good things. The four that are still in the race are the people that came in 1, 2, 3, and 4 in Iowa. So I think Iowa has fulfilled its role of winnowing the field, but I think we've also reached the point where it's time for the party to come together in the not-too-distant future and really focus on winning the general election. There is a lot at stake. We cannot afford to go the direction we are under President Obama. This increasing the national debt by $1.3 trillion every year is heading us in a disastrous direction. And also, I have grave concerns about Obamacare and adding 150,000 people to the Iowa Medicaid rolls. It's not affordable. It's not sustainable. I know this is now going before the Supreme Court, but that's the reason why I joined with 25 other states in challenging the mandate that's in that legislation.
Based on what you said, does that mean if Romney wins Wisconsin, you'll jump in and endorse him?
Well, I guess after Wisconsin, I'm going to take another look, and we'll see what happens in Wisconsin. I'm not going to prejudge what they're going to do in Wisconsin any more than prejudge other states. But I do think that it's you know, I guess my feeling is that Republicans do need to come together, and we need to have a strong and united campaign to win back the White House, as well as to win these other races that are critically important, as well, including the Iowa legislature, the congressional seats that are at stake.
Do you think this protracted process is hurting the party and sapping resources?
Well, it's certainly taking some resources, and I don't like kind of the personal attacks and some of the things that have occurred. But I also think there's been some good things about it. It's helped bring out the issues. There's been a lot of debates. There's been an opportunity, and I think a lot of people can see this country's going the wrong direction. I think the Iowa poll clearly says Iowans feel that way. We cannot go deeper and deeper in debt. We cannot continue to spend dollars that we don't have. We can't continue to have government impose more and more mandates on local and state governments that are not affordable or sustainable, or things like the rule that they have out on child labor on farms, or some of the EPA provisions that basically are going to close down our coal-fired plants without clean coal or nuclear or some other way to replace them with efficient, low-cost energy. So there's a lot of concerns we have, and obviously the veto of the pipeline is another thing that's got a lot of people concerned, because energy costs, especially gasoline costs, are nearing $4 again, and that's a real detriment to our economy and to our economic recovery.
Has what happened in Florida raised any concerns in your mind about the stand your ground proposal that came up in the legislature that stalled this year?
Well, I think you need to judge each of these things on their merits and on the individual circumstance. I understand now there's going to be a grand jury investigation, and I think you really need to look into the facts, and it needs to be decided based on the facts of the individual case. So whether you have stand your ground legislation or not, I think it really does come down to whether or not it's self-defense or it isn't. And that's something that I think a grand jury is going to have to decide, whether they believe there's enough evidence to file criminal charges.